Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at Jeremiah chapter 37 today.
Right, a really intense chapter.
Yeah, sets the scene pretty vividly. Jerusalem is under siege by the Babylonians. King Zedekiah is on the throne. Interestingly, put there by Nebuchadnezzar himself.
The very same one now besieging the city. And Jeremiah the prophet is right there in the mix.
But here's the kicker, right at the start. The king, his officials, the people, nobody's really paying attention to what the Lord's saying through Jeremiah.
No, there's this like deliberate deafness almost. They've heard it before and they're just choosing not to listen this time.
It's strange, though, because despite ignoring him, something happens. The Babylonians temporarily withdraw.
Yeah, Pharaoh's army marches out of Egypt and the Babylonians pull back for a bit. A moment of hope, maybe.
Exactly, a breather.
Oh.
And what does Zedekiah do? He sends messengers, Jehukal and Zephaniah the priest, to Jeremiah after ignoring him.
Uh-huh. And the message is basically, hey, could you pray to the Lord our God for us?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is this genuine repentance or just grasping at straws because things look slightly better for a second?
Well, it shows how people can turn to God, or seem to, when they want a specific outcome. Maybe not when they want actual guidance.
The response they get through Jeremiah,
Yeah,
it's not comforting.
not at all. The Lord's message is immediate and, frankly, brutal. Jeremiah tells them straight up, that Egyptian army, your hope.
They're heading back home, going back to Egypt. False hope.
Totally false. And then the real message lands. The Babylonians will be back.
No ambiguity there.
None. They will attack, they will capture Jerusalem, and they will burn it down. It's decided.
And he gives that really strong warning, do not deceive yourselves. Like, don't cling to this temporary relief.
Right, and then that's incredibly graphic image. He says even if the Babylonian army was reduced to nothing but wounded men,
Just wounded guys left in their tents.
even they would somehow get up and still burn the city down.
Wow. That just hammers home the absolute certainty of it, doesn't it? Resistance is completely futile at this point.
It really does. God's judgment is set because they just wouldn't listen. So then the focus shifts a bit to Jeremiah himself.
Right, so the Babylonians are gone. For now, he's got some freedom. What does he do?
He decides to leave the city, tries to head out to the territory of Benjamin.
Why there?
Seems he had some family property matters to sort out there, maybe claim his share or something.
Okay, so personal business during this lull in the fighting. Makes sense.
But it doesn't last long. As he's going through the Benjamin Gate
He gets stopped.
by a guard captain, Erijah. And this Erijah accuses him completely falsely of deserting.
Deserting to the Babylonians. That's the charge.
That's the charge, which is ironic given his message.
Jeremiah denies it, obviously, says that's not true.
But you know, the officials, they're already angry with him. They don't listen.
So they just arrest him.
Worse, they beat him and then they throw him into prison. Not even a proper jail, but like a makeshift dungeon.
Where was it?
In the house of Jonathan the secretary. They'd converted part of it, probably a cellar or cistern, into this prison cell. Awful conditions, you imagine.
So the prophet, warning the king, gets beaten and thrown into a dungeon just for delivering the message.
Exactly, and he's stuck there. But the story isn't over. King Zedekiah, he's not quite done with Jeremiah.
Oh,
What happens?
he sends for him again, but this time, secretly. Brings him out of that dungeon.
Privately, okay, and asks him,
The same question he seems afraid to really hear the answer to. Is there any word from the Lord?
even after Jeremiah has been imprisoned for his last word from the Lord, does Jeremiah change his tune? Give him some hope.
Not a chance. He looks at Zedekiah in the eye and says, yes.
Yeah.
You can imagine the king holding his breath. You will be handed over to the king of Babylon. Same message. No compromise.
Unbelievable courage, really, or just faithfulness.
Both, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But then Jeremiah makes his own appeal. He asks the king, what did I actually do wrong? What crime?
Good question. And he points out, my prophecies about Babylon attacking, they're happening. What about those other prophets who promised peace? Where are they now?
He calls them out. Makes sense.
And then he pleads, specifically begs, Zedekiah, please don't send me back to Jonathan's house. I'll die there.
He genuinely fears for his life in that dungeon.
Absolutely. And Zedekiah, he actually listens to that part anyway.
So what does he do?
He orders Jeremiah moved, not freed, but moved from the dungeon cell to the courtyard of the guard.
Still prison, but better conditions.
Presumably, yes. Safer, maybe more open air. And he also arranges for Jeremiah to get a daily ration of bread.
From the Baker Street, it says. A small mercy.
A small mercy, yeah. Guaranteed food, at least until the city's supply completely runs out, which we know is coming. And that's where Jeremiah stays. in the courtyard of the guard. Still a prisoner.
What a chapter. It's just this stark picture, isn't it? Ignoring truth because it's hard. The prophet caught in the middle, suffering for it.
Caught between God's difficult message and human denial and political games. It's intense.
It really leaves you thinking, what does it mean when you face a truth you really, really don't want to hear?
Yeah, and how do you sort through all the noise, you know? How do you tell a genuine warning from, well, from everything else?
Yeah.
Something definitely worth pondering.